Okay, we are looking right now at your formula sheet. I want to be clear about what's on your formula sheet. So, you have at the top, excuse me, there shouldn't be any more talking. You should not have your phones out. You should have your review out in front of you. On your formula sheet, this will be what I give to you. You will not be bringing your own. I will have these, okay? So you will be given a formula sheet. It has the unit circle at the top. It has the slope formula, distance formula, and midpoint formula. It's got 30, 60, 90 triangle and 45, 45, 90 triangle. It's got reflecting over x equals 0, y equals 0, y equals x, and y equals negative x. And it has rotations. The rotations are always counterclockwise. Rotation of counterclockwise, 90, 180, and 270. Okay. So, you will also be given an exam that has all the questions on it. So, the formula sheet and the exam with the questions you cannot write on. You will be given scrap paper where you can write on it, and you will be given a bubble sheet that you fill in.
Do we have to turn in the scrap paper?
Yes. Okay, so you'll turn in all 4 things. 2 of them shouldn't have any writing on it. Don't write on the problems, and don't write on the formula sheet. Is that clear? Yes. Yeah. As long as... Okay. So we've done 1 through 30. So let's go ahead and 1 through 29. Let's go ahead here and we'll look at 30. Okay. So, number 30. When the figure is reflected across the y-axis, and sorry, it should just say y-axis, it was a typo. What are the coordinates of the resulting image? Okay? When we reflect across the y-axis, phones down, guys, pay attention, please. When we reflect across the y-axis, the y value doesn't change, but the x sign changes. So in this case, because we're looking at this picture right here next to it, we go to 2, 7, 2, 1, and 6, 2. Number 31. We're translating 3 units to the left, 7 units down. So we're literally each point the x value we're subtracting 3 from, and the y value we're subtracting 7 from. Okay? So we get negative 5, 10, negative 5, 0. I don't know where 10 came from. Sorry, guys. Negative 5, 0. Negative 5, negative 6. Negative 9, negative 5. Okay. 32. We're going 180 degrees. When I'm doing rotation, I like to write down what the formula is. So I would go to my formula sheet, and the formula for 180 is we change the sign of x and we change the sign of y. So I will get 2, negative 7, 2, negative 1, and 6, negative 2. Questions about those? Okay. And then 33, it's a 90 degrees clockwise, which is the same thing as 270 counterclockwise. So that's y negative x. And so I get 7, 2, 1, 2, and 2, 6. Questions about these before I move to my next page? So it would be, see, stop talking or move your seats. I'm done. Okay. See how it lists the 3 points right here? There will be different points listed. And you'll just have to pick, like it might be for the other multiple choice might be like negative 7, negative 2, negative 1, negative 2. You know what I mean? And you'd have to know that it was this one for positive. Yes, Stephanie? Nope, you don't need to bring anything but a pencil for Tim. For 32, 6, negative 2. Any other questions on this page before we go to the next one? Okay. Let's look at 34. Okay. For 34, I'm going to dilate this by 3. What do we do with dilation? So I've got these 3 points right here that I've written down. I've got this 3 on the outside. What am I doing with that 3? It's This is dilation by 3. Multiply each one. So negative 2 times 3, negative 1 times 3. That gives us negative 6, negative 3. 2 times 3 and negative 2 times 3. That gives us 6, negative 6. 2 and 4. That gives us 6 and 12. Questions about that for dilation? Some people always tell me, I know how to do everything but dilation. Dilation should be pretty darn easy because you're just multiplying by what the number is.
You explain dilation one more time.
Dilation means it's getting bigger or smaller, right? So when it says by a factor of 3, that means it's going to get bigger. It's going to enlarge. So I'm literally going 3 times, this is my point, right? This is my point, negative 2, negative 1. So I'm just timesing that by 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Okay, you're literally multiplying it by those numbers. Okay. Number 35. Number 35, I'm asking to do 2 things. First, reflect across the y-axis. Then, translate it 8 units to the right. Okay? Again, you can use your formulas for this. You can get out, like, you can have a graph paper on some of your scrap paper and do this. But do each one. First, I'm going to reflect. Then I'm going to take this new green one, and I'm going to move it 8 units to the right. Okay, so my points should be 10, 7, 10, 1, and 14, 2. Ten, 7, 10, 1, and 14, 2.
So you get mirrors too?
You could have mirrors too. Yeah, I can leave out mirrors and patty paper if you want them.
Is that a 2?
Mm-hmm.
14, 2.
14, 2. Let me try to make that a little bit better. Okay. 36. How am I going from here to here? From A, B, C to A prime, B prime, C prime. What'd you guys do? It says it's a translation. It says it's a translation. So that means how much did I move right or left? How much did I move up or down? Yep, so I moved over 9, so x plus 9, y minus 8, because I moved down 8. So I moved to the right 9, down 8. X plus 9, y minus 8.
Oh, wait, so you got to count how many times? Oh.
Here is the biggest issue with that. I don't know what it is about counting, but you guys mess up counting more than anything else. It's multiple choice, right? If yours isn't up there, don't go with the closest one. Recount. It's like the biggest problem with the performance tasks that we took, that front page, was people messed up on counting what the points were originally. Like, this is -2, 1. So many people have it 1, -2. Make sure you keep track. And some people are like, 1, 2, 3, that's 5 away. No, you didn't actually count it. You can't just guess. You got to actually count. It's one of the biggest problems. It's multiple choice. The right answer is there. Double check. Okay, any questions on 34, 35, or 36 before we turn it over?
Wait, so I found the way it transferred out of the,
So if you're going from like C to C over here, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
not counting down.
And then you'd count down to get 8. And then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. For number 37, what type of rotation is happening here? Number 37.
A 9.
I have 90 which way? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Counterclockwise. Now this is how I do it. I put down A is -2, 7. The new A is -7, -2. So I went from, I'm on 37. I went from x comma y to -yx, right? So then I looked at my formula sheet and I said, okay, which of these rotations is -yx? Oh, it's 90 degrees. Did you see what I did there? Instead of just looking at it and being like, how much did it rotate, which you can totally do, Instead, I wrote down the points and figured out what the formula was. See how this is negative 2, 7, and the new one is negative 7, negative 2? That means I switched places, and the y became negative. And then since this says negative yx, I looked right here under rotations. See how this says negative yx? Stephanie, you don't get frustrated. You don't have to do it this way. You can just look at it and be like, that's 90 degrees. But if you're confused, that's another way to do it.
So we got what clockwise it is?
That this is counterclockwise. If the option is positive 90, positive 180, or positive 270, that's counterclockwise. If it's negative 90, negative 180, or negative 270, that's clockwise.
How you know that's counter though?
Because it went from here to here. So it went like that way. And if I look at a clock, clocks go like this way, right? Tick, 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 tick. This goes the opposite way of a clock, from here to here. So that's how it's counterclockwise. All right. What's the rotation for 38? If we're looking at 38, there's the picture for 38. What rotation is it? Is it 90, 180, or 270? 180. I can just see that by looking at it, but again, you can write down the points again and figure out which one it is. But I just looking at it was like 180. Okay, number 39. Number 39, we're looking at this. What is the line of reflection? Where could I fold this in half and they would touch each other?
Down the one.
So it should be x equals 1 or y equals 1?
Y.
X. It crosses the x-axis. That is one of the more common things that people mess up. This is where it folds. Everybody knows it. But they're like, it's straight up and down, so it's y. No, it's where it crosses the x-axis, guys. Where it crosses the x-axis. We did 38. 38 was 180. Any questions about these before we move to the next ones? 37, 38, 39, questions? No?
You just playing 39, like how the X and Y.
Okay. It crosses the x-axis. And I did this. I counted the distance between C and C. There's 6 apart. So that I know the 3 is the middle. Right? So I go back. 1, 2, 3.
What?
The middle of 1 to 6 is 3. Okay? So I counted back from here, and that's x equals 1. That's where if I fold it in half on that orange line, this will go right on top of that. Okay. All right, you can do that. I'm looking at 40. All right. This is how I figure out 40. I don't know a better way to do this, but you do have to memorize this part. Okay, you ready? 2 times the second line of reflection minus the first line of reflection equals the translation. Okay? So 2 times x minus 3 equals 10. So x equals 8. So I know the second line of reflection is going to be x equals 8. Okay? You remember with the proofs over and over again that the distance between the 2 lines, if we double it, that's the translation? That's what we're doing here.
Oh, we got
2 times the second minus the first equals the translation. And then the composite is x plus 10 comma y. Okay. Number 41. Okay. It says we're going to reflect over line y equals x and y equals negative x. You can graph it, but you're going to have to put it on your own graph paper. Or we know y comma x is the formula for y equals x. We get negative 2, 3, negative 6, 1, negative 10, 6. And then the formula for y equals negative x is negative y negative x. So we get negative 3, 2, negative 1, 6, negative 6, 10. Okay? If we go from the top, x comma y, to the bottom, negative x, negative y, it's 180 degrees. questions about 40 or 41. These are the ones that people do not do the best on. So if you have a question about this, please ask now.
You know what I was doing with mercy?
Yeah.
I was putting down the exact same thing, putting a negative on all of it.
Don't put a negative on all of it. Okay. 42. We have to see what's wrong with number 42. And the problem is we reflected A over line 1, but then we reflected A over line 2, and we're supposed to reflect A prime over line 2. So it should be X, X, Y right here instead of just Y. That's the only thing wrong. Still, the distance between line and 1, 2 is X plus Y, and A to A double prime is 2X plus 2Y. All right. Number 43. What is it? Reflection, rotation, dilation, translation. It is a rotation. It's fun. Number 44. Translation, reflection, rotation, or dilation. What happened for 44? It's just one. Dilation. It changed size. It's dilation. Questions about 42, 43, or 44? Trying to ask questions after each page.
Can you go back up to 42?
Yes. So, what is wrong with it is we reflected A over line 1, but then we're supposed to do A prime over line 2. So, it's supposed to be X, X, Y is supposed to be on both sides, and there's just a Y there.
Right.
That's what's wrong with it. So, it should say X, X, Y. Good?
Yeah.
44. Rotation, dilation, reflection, translation. Which one is it?
I don't have it. I only
For 45. Is it a, let's eliminate them one by one then. Is it a translation, yes or no? Translation just means it slid to the right, left, up, or down. Is it a translation, yes or no? No. Is it a dilation? Did it change size? It's the same size, right? Okay. So that means it's either a reflection or a rotation. Which one do we think it is? Reflection. Good. Yep.
That's a reflection.
Yep.
That's a date.
Okay. What?
How's that a reflection?
If I put a line right down the middle, it just folded in half. This goes here. This goes here. This goes here. Fold right in half. 46. What two things are happening here for number 46?
rotation.
A rotation for sure, and what else?
Um,
I have translation, reflection, excuse me. Because if I rotate it right here, it's still facing the wrong way, and if I reflect it.
So I just like a 2 inch?
For 46, 47, and 48, there are two. For 43, 44, and 45, there's only one. Okay. 47. What two things are happening for 47?
dilation.
Dilation happens for sure. What else do you think?
Rotation.
Rotation. Number 48, what two things happen for 48?
Rotation.
Rotation and
Translation.
I have a reflection because if I rotated it here, it'd be facing this way.
Oh, I thought the translation was like all of them.
No, they're all called transformations. Translation is just right, left, up, or down.
Okay.
They both start with T. It makes it more difficult. Okay. Any questions on this page? 45 through 48. Okay. Any questions on the whole thing that you need to ask about? No other questions that you have? So remember, I have all of the answers where I did the problems recorded, and then I have the all the answers typed up, all on my website, so you can study. Okay, I know a lot of you aren't going to study till tomorrow because you're studying for first and second hours tonight, but don't forget to do this. Don't forget to study. It's math. You want to look at it one more time.